Hey everybody, Superawesome here. I'd like to welcome you all to episode number 6 of my slasher movie archives. In this video, I will be giving my review for Cupid. It'll be a bloody Valentine this year. The story is often told of Cupid, but his origins, his true story, is far from the tales we have read. Cupid was the son of two Roman gods, Venus, his mother, the goddess of love, beauty, and fertility, his father Mars, the god of war and justice. Meeting under unlikely circumstances, an affair blossomed between the couple, and they give life to Cupid himself, a Roman god. With his parents' influence, Cupid would protect love and all it stood for in his growing years. And when it came to finding love himself, Cupid found himself falling in love with Psyche, the goddess of song. However, his mother grew jealous of the beauty that Psyche held, not only within, but on the surface too. Venus, an aging goddess, grew bitter over the youthful looks Psyche held. She was possibly the most beautiful woman in all the land, and soon Venus barred Cupid from being with Psyche, banning any love between the couple, disapproving of their love. But the true love between them could not hold Psyche back. She begged for hope, for approval from Venus. Venus agreed to grant Psyche and Cupid eternal love if Psyche were to complete 3 impossible tasks. Psyche accepted the challenge. Venus, assured that Psyche would be unable to complete the tasks, confident that she may not even come back alive, was surprised when Psyche returned, having completed all 3. Every step she took, every breath she drew, brought her closer to her love. But Psyche was weak. She fell before the castle, unable to stand, unable to make it to the door itself to give Venus the gift she had been tasked to win. Cupid, realizing the love Psyche had for him, immediately attended her side. Thinking he could save her, he pricked her with the energy from his arrow's spike. However, this is where the story changes. People believe Cupid to have saved Psyche, and they were to have lived happily ever after. However, the true story behind the legend is not so happily ever after, not at all. The true story is much darker. Cupid believed he was to give Psyche ambrosia from his arrow to live forever, but what he didn't know was that Venus had tampered with the arrow, lacing it with poison. Killing Psyche with the prick of his arrow, Cupid, fueled with rage towards his jealous mother and unsupporting father, flew around the town attacking the townspeople, promising to never support or allow love again. If he could never experience love himself, he wanted no one else to. Full of anger, Cupid went to the dark depths of the underworld and came face to face with the god of death himself. Angered by Cupid demanding assistance for revenge, the god of death had another idea. He warped Cupid's mind, filling him with the darkest anger that could never be shaken off, for eternity feeling hatred towards love and those who abuse it, and filling him with demonic energy flowing through his blood. Over centuries and under the right circumstances, the Roman god Cupid himself could be summoned to defend and to protect what he represents, bringing fury to bear on those who abuse love. Okay, so getting into the plot for this one. After being horrendously embarrassed by the mean girls at school, Faye, a practicing witch, summons the evil Cupid to take revenge on all those within the school grounds. However, all turns very real on Valentine's when Cupid does in fact rise, and he will stop at nothing until the walls are covered in blood. The students must figure out a way to stop Cupid and undo the spell before their hearts get broken, very literally. Okay, so getting into my thoughts for this one, I'm really happy to be giving a review for a slasher movie that has a Roman god as the killer. I hope you enjoyed the movie's backstory for Cupid. The movie's narrator did a much better job, but I wanted to try something different, and considering this is my review, I thought I would give it a shot and do the narration myself. The movie opens up on Valentine's Day and Cupid is on a rampage, murdering those who abuse love. As soon as he kills the person who summoned him, the movie goes to a 2 days until Valentine's Day time period. So 2 days before Valentine's. So at this point, I was expecting to see the events that led up to the opening of the movie. But it wasn't long before I realized that this 2 days until Valentine's Day was for a completely different Valentine's altogether. So I'm guessing maybe the following year, because we are now following completely new characters. Which kind of led me to think that it's really easy to summon Cupid. And Cupid must stay really busy, because he can pretty much be summoned easily by anybody. And could you imagine how many unhappy people who are unhappy with their love life and their relationships who would be summoning this thing? People who have been cheated on, and people who are jealous, or just like in the case of this movie, we have someone who summons Cupid because they want somebody that they can't have. The possibilities are endless. For the most part, I had a good time watching Cupid, even though it does miss the mark on what I would have liked to have seen. With that being said, I am a big fan of Roman and Greek mythology, so my mind did run pretty wild with ideas and possibilities with what this movie could have been. Most of the movie takes place inside a high school, after the characters in this movie are trapped inside and they are unable to escape. But now that I think about it, I don't really recall any of the characters trying to escape the school. This was mostly people running from Cupid and hiding in various different rooms until he hunts them down and kills them off one by one. If they are able to survive 24 hours, then the curse will be lifted after Valentine's Day passes. One thing that I have to say about this high school, it has some truly unique lighting. We have lots of rooms being lit with green, blue, and even different shades of pink and purple lighting. I thought that was pretty cool, even though I'm pretty sure there's no school on this planet that is lit this way. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the characters we have in Cupid. Faye is the main character to this movie's storyline. She has a crush on Mr. Jones, one of her teachers, who has no interest in her other than being her teacher, even though I can see where Faye may be getting some mixed signals from Mr. Jones. Faye has trouble with a girl named Elise and her friends. They are here to make Faye's life a living hell. They constantly bully her. And Mr. Jones is always coming to Faye's defense, in which he rightfully should with him being the teacher, but he does cross the line with it. Being a male teacher and going into the girl's bathroom is just crossing the line. I mean, maybe I could see it if there was a fist fight going down, but to go into the girl's bathroom to check on a student who has gum in their hair, that's just a bit much. So I could see where Faye could potentially be getting some mixed signals. Then we have Elise, who is in charge of putting the Valentine's dance together at the school. But her bullying has gone too far, which leads to the dance getting canceled. Elise's big issue with Faye is that her dad is sleeping with Faye's mother, and it's causing all kinds of family troubles on both sides. We also have Matt, who is Faye's best friend, and it's very clear that he has a thing for Faye. But Faye is about to put everybody in the school's life in danger when she summons Cupid to end love for everybody in the school. So she is seeking the ultimate revenge when she makes her move on Mr. Jones and he turns her advances down. And the bullies record it, and then they expose her in front of the entire class, making fun of her. Overall, I really didn't care for any of the characters in this movie. The dialogue continued to get worse and worse as the movie went along. It did have some humor, especially with the opening sequence, but after that, it was played pretty straightforward. And there are some conversations in this movie that were absolutely ridiculous. And to have to continue to listen to Faye say that she's sorry for summoning Cupid to kill everybody in the school, to hear her apologizing over and over was really getting on my nerves. I wanted Cupid to kill them all, and that would have been the best possible outcome for this movie. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the most important part of a slasher movie, that is the killer and the kills. I absolutely love the idea of Cupid as a slasher villain, especially with it taking place on Valentine's Day. It's just the perfect fit. I thought the look and the design for Cupid was pretty cool. The facial features could be a little hit or miss at times with some of the makeup and the prosthetics, but overall Cupid was a pretty menacing looking killer. Another minor complaint would be when Cupid is up in the sky. We don't really have many scenes with him being up in the sky, but with his pale complexion, he was pretty much gray looking. He really blended in with the sky, so that's a little disappointing. It was a little hard to get a good look at him because he was blending and he was moving really fast. But I would have loved to have seen him spread his wings more and have more flying scenes with a better looking backdrop for the sky behind him. As far as the kills go in this movie, it has a pretty big body count. I want to say we get around 10 kills overall, which is really good. But my biggest complaint with this movie is that we have way too many survivors, and that's a big problem for me. Cupid's weapon of choice is obviously his bow and his poisonous arrows. We have people taking arrows through their eye sockets, but oddly, Cupid likes to down his victims by shooting an arrow into their leg and then finishing them off by either ripping their heart out or stabbing them with the arrow. We have a kill where Cupid stabs a person in the back of the head with an arrow and it's sticking out of their mouth and the blood is flowing. We also have Cupid jabbing what looks like a half dozen roses down a person's throat, and the stems are coming out of the side of the person's neck. Overall, we had some pretty fun kills, and I thought Cupid was a pretty decent slasher movie, and I'm going to recommend it if you are looking for a Valentine's slasher movie to watch. We don't really have many of them, and Cupid is one that I will be revisiting from time to time. IMDb give Cupid a 4.7. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. So please like, subscribe, comment below. Let me know if you have seen Cupid, or just let me know what you think about my review. And as always, I would like to thank you all for watching.